Sometimes everything doesn't go quite as planned. Did you ever had this situation? Closer to the end of the work, my whole family helped me to draw this picture. My whole family thought about how to crop it so that the composition would look more interesting. This video is about how I draw magic and about the important role of the horns in your drawing, and about how lucky you are if you're a digital artist. You can return to any previous stage of work and start drawing again from it. It's also about that you need to have a courage to show your potential and don't quit your art even if it seems on some stage as unsuccessful. This video is not an instructional video. These are rather my thoughts about the process and some details and some experience I had during working. Technical details that may be useful to those who love to draw. At the stage of warming up and planning the work, when I did my very first sketch of her, I drew her head, and when I had a pretty well drawn head, I thought, can I somehow continue this drawing to get some interesting pose? And the pose turned out to be quite tricky and complicated. I didn't even really hope that I would make an artwork from it, but I did. Actually, this is the first sketch that I made for this character and this pose. I don't try to make my sketches look perfect. I don't strive for thin and super precise lines. Rather, my sketch is a guide for me. It's not an independent artwork, but rather a component part of my future art. As I work, I completely erase some lines of my sketch and make others thinner and more precise. However, I do not delete my sketch completely, but incorporate it into the work. It becomes part of my work, creating additional texture and shades of shadow, adding expression and becoming another means of expression. I've been meaning to draw her for quite some time now. She's been the most requested character on my Patreon for a month now, but I couldn't get myself to draw her for a long time because of the degree of responsibility that I felt. I wanted her to look like a real rock star, which she is, as well as a sorceress. But I wasn't sure enough that I had a good pose in my mind for her, quite a bold and dynamic pose that would work. Based on her name Phoenix and the color palette, she is definitely a fire character in this skin, so I decided to add flames on her chest. I decided that the spikes would make her look like a rock star, and a scarf on her shoulders would add a bit of magical vibe, a vibe of sorceress. It's not too good for the result to worry so much about how the picture will turn out. In a moment of stress, you make the maximum number of mistakes because you are tense, your brain cannot relax and work most effectively. In this sense, for an artist, in my opinion, a certain degree of irresponsibility is necessary. You need to have fun more than to feel yourself nervous and worry. On the other hand, each drawing is time. It takes time of your life that passing by and can't be returned back. so it's impossible to not to worry. Each drawing is important. It's a separate story, a separate experience. There is also a lot of behind the scenes work. I make a lot of rook sketches, including in color sketches, to mark the location of the colors, to try how they will look, and to choose the best light, the best color scheme. Each artwork is the sum of successful and unsuccessful decisions. And at some stage, at some point, I felt like I'm scared of how bright my art turned out. I felt that I can't control my colors. I felt like the colors, the composition, the whole picture were getting out of my control. So I started removing effects from the background and to change colors, to understand what exactly is unnecessary, what needs to be changed or removed. And when my work was already completed, I reviewed the recording of the drawing process, and at one point I saw that I definitely liked the work. I wasn't deceived in that moment. I really liked the result, but in one moment I had this feeling that my colors were no longer under my control, began after I changed a percentage of accent colors in relation to the colors that support and create the background, the overall atmosphere. I was confused by the fact that the characters is fiery and probably should have fire magic on the background. So the background should contain more red color. But since red is an accent color, it should ideally be no more than about 30% of the colors on the picture, so that it is truly an accent color. If the percentage is changed, the imbalance occurs, and our eye don't understand really what color is an accent color. Usually, an accent color is the brightest color on the picture, and I decided that it should be red here. But if there is more red in the picture, green starts to take over this function, and that's not what I had in mind. So I needed to change the situation. So I opened the file where I saved this stage. I went back to that stage and started to draw again, to work again. What my family told me in terms of composition, it was very helpful. They noticed that I don't need to cut a part with her horns, but rather extend this part upwards by drawing it additionally a little. And it was easy to do and change the composition for good. When I cut off the part with the horns, when I cropped this image different ways and showed to my family, asking them how it will be better in terms of composition, my younger assistant told me that it's necessary to not cut off the part with horns, as it looks like her horns were resting against the ceiling. To which I replied, "Is it really impossible in the photo?" We laughed. And yet my senior assistant told me that it's just like in photography. It looks very good from the point of view of composition, then the building with high domes is not cut off. It's good when its top rush into the sky. And this is exactly what applies to her horns. So I got experience in drawing characters with horns, with big horns, with high horns. Soon I'm going to draw llama from Wuthering Waves, and it will be very useful experience. After all these changes and then reviewing the video of my whole process, I thought, yeah, she is a magical, powerful magician and hero and a bright phoenix, and she must look bright and colorful. But still, you shouldn't change the proportions of colors in painting, where the accent colors is about 30% and the other colors are supporting. Don't forget to like this video. You can support me on Patreon and get a lot of additional special goodies I create only for my patrons. I also use my Patreon as a social media. You can subscribe to my Patreon by choosing the free option so as not to miss any updates, any new picture and new videos I share. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.